Hi there, this is Leanne Dunn of Pine Hollow Paper Design. Today I'm going to show you how I use the Abstract Impressions stamp set to make this floral background. To start, the card base is a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 soft seafoam cardstock, scored in half at 4 1/4. The base of your floral background is this piece of Whisper White cardstock cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So to start stamping, you're going to use the petal pink, and there are 3 of the floral pieces from the stamp set that we're going to be using. So I'm going to call this one the largest, this one the middle, and this one the smallest. So we're going to get started with the largest, and that's what you're going to be stamping in petal pink. So you're just going to do them in a very random design throughout the page. You can turn them so they look a little bit more random. So now we're going to move to the middle one, which is going to be this one. And we're going to switch over to a different color for stamping. We're going to use the Grapefruit Grove stamp pad. On this, we're actually going to do the stamp off technique, where I'm going to ink my stamp off onto my scrap paper, and then stamp onto my design. So you can see it just gives a really light pattern. And I do try to match up with the previous one, but sometimes that doesn't always work out. Okay, so that's all done. We're going to keep using the Grapefruit Grove, but now we're going to switch to the smallest one, which is this one right here. We're just going to use the Grapefruit Grove and stamp directly on, so the color will be a lot more vivid. Okay, so now your flowers are done, so we can go ahead and close up the Grapefruit Grove. And we're going to switch over to soft seafoam. So to do the leaves, I used this piece with the soft seafoam. And again, you're just going to try to fill the space. So I was doing 2 of these to make leaves look like they're touching. And I did that on each flower. And next we're going to move to some smaller leaves, which are these right here. And same thing, we're just going to fill the empty space. Okay, so now you've got your background completed, and now we can go on to finishing the card. For the greeting, I used a piece of soft seafoam cut to 1 inch by 2 5/8 inches. And on top of that, we're going to use a piece of Whisper White cut to 3/4 inches by 2 3/8 inches. This is the one we're going to stamp the saying on. So again, we're going to use the petal pink. And also from the Abstract Impressions stamp set, we will be using the thank you. And we'll just ink up in the petal pink and try to get this centered. It's so much easier with the photopolymer stamps to see exactly where you're stamping. So it's much easier to get everything centered. Okay, so now we can go ahead and get this attached to the soft seafoam piece. So we're just going to add a little bit of adhesive. And I have already added some mini Stampin' dimensionals on the back. We're going to set this aside for now, and we're going to go back to our background. So I used a piece of linen thread. It's cut to about 2 feet, and we're going to wrap this around and tie it so that it's on the left-hand side of the card. Okay, so it looks a little messy, but we can use some glue dots to fix that. What I usually do is I take one glue dot and I set it behind the bow. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. This is just my way. So I set it so that it sits where I want it, and then I can adjust from there. Okay, so now we can cut off the excess here. So that's all set to go. So now we can attach this to our card base, which we can take and fold in half. And of course I will use my bone folder for a nice crease. Again, you're just going to take some adhesive and get this attached. Okay, so now we just have to attach our saying, so I'll just peel these pieces off of the Stampin' dimensionals and we'll get this attached. All right, and there you go. So if you don't struggle with bows as much as I do, this is a really quick and simple card to make that really is just perfect for so many different occasions. You can make this a thank you, happy birthday, get well soon. It's very, very good for so many different occasions. Well, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Bye!